All right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, so from solo agent to team leader. So just really quick in the chat, if you guys can write how many years you've been an agent for, and if you have a team or if you're thinking of starting a team. Okay, so my real estate journey, I got my license in 2021. I'm a COVID realtor. Let's see, hold on, 2 years considering building a team. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I got my license in 2021. I sold seven and a half, and I had another 1.5 pending. I was almost rookie of the year, and then I left that brokerage halfway in, but I'm still going to give it to myself. And then 2022, I grew a team of about 8 agents. My retention rate has been 83% for the last 3 years since I started the team, and we sold over 10 million. 2023, I expanded to Florida while keeping my New York business in full productivity. So what's funny is that I spend 75% of my time in Florida, but 75% of my business is done in New York. And then 2024, I have doubled my last year's GCI in production the first 6 months of this year. And I was only working an average of 10 to 20 hours per week because I started doing some of these strategies that I'm going to go over with you guys. So the first thing I want you to write down, if you have a notebook in front of you or just like mentally think about, is what's your reasoning for wanting to start the team? Is your goal this year to have a better work-life balance? Is it to earn more money? Is it to expand to a new market? Do you want to make more of an influence and impact? Do you have a passion for teaching or training? Or maybe you just want to offer a wider range of diverse value to your clients. What's your why for wanting to start the team? And there's no right or wrong, but the only wrong answers are the ones that are self-serving. And we're going to dive into this a little bit. Choosing a team name. So think of your team motto, your value proposition. We're going to dive into that as well. Your purpose, your drive, your goals, and think of a name to reflect that. So from my personal experience, when you name your team after yourself, it makes it difficult for your agents on your team to want to promote that and help build that because they feel like, okay, we're doing all this work and we're closing all these deals, but we're building somebody else's name. You know what I mean? You know, if you build something like I went with Modern Approach, for example, because I was using social media marketing to promote my listings, get my clients, find buyers. And that was the modern approach to marketing in order to do that. So find something, and that's what I mean by like your value, your purpose, and your drive and your goals that will help you come up with a name. And you can try ChatGPT or thesaurus.com for ideas and just tell them like the more specific you are, the better results you're going to get out. And if you tell them like I'm looking for to build a luxury brand, we're in these markets, this is our motto, this is what we hope to accomplish, it will help you come up with names and you can keep regenerating them until you get an answer that you really like. But you don't have to just think of it out of thin air. I mean, sometimes it just comes to you, but there are tools to help you with that. So, or you can just ask me and I will help you also. But like I said, from your own my personal experience, it's just more difficult. You want, if it's your name, you want something that people get excited about, that they can promote as their own. Like you want a team name where they can post about it and pretend it's their team. That's what's going to help build that culture around the team itself. What is your unique value proposition? What do you do differently? What do you offer that is going to help you stand out, right? So what did you do to get business your first couple years? That's what you should be teaching your agents and what your focus should be on. If you don't cold call, don't teach them cold calling. Don't push for them to do something you don't do. You're leading by example, and you can outsource that, bring someone in that specializes in that, but you should not be promoting something like that if you're not doing it, because they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, but you're not making 20 calls a day. What am I going to make 20 calls a day for, you know? And it's going to make it like there's going to be a real detachment between your mindset and theirs if you're not leading by example. So what did you do that was successful? How did you stand out in an overly saturated market? You have three jobs as a team leader. The first one is to sell houses. And this is one mistake a lot of team leaders make, is that they think, oh my God, I just built this huge team. I recruited 15 agents. I never have to sell another house. That's the moment that your GCI is going to plummet, right? Because you're a realtor first. You can't lead a team unless you have the knowledge and experience to teach others. And also, things are constantly changing. The market is constantly shifting. And, the laws are changing. You have to be out there in the field in order to reiterate that to your team. Also, you need to have some sort of business overflow to supply them and lead by example to motivate them. And we're going to dive into that a little bit also. You don't have to sell 1 million homes a year to build a team, but you do have to have some sort of leverage that you can give them in order to provide them with business and to keep them a little bit busier. Your second job as a team leader is to be a recruiter. If you're at a brokerage where you're getting something like revenue share for, attracting agents to the company, you're double dipping in it, right? So you're attracting agents, plus you can attract them to your team and you can win in both ways. But if you're not constantly adding agents to your team, it's going to start depleting. And number three is creating the culture. You have to create the culture. Otherwise, you get the culture that is assigned to you. And it's cadence and the rhythm of success. So like I said, if you're preaching things that you're not proving and showing them and leading by example, the culture is going to be completely shifted and they're not going to look to you as the authority and for example. And that's when your retention rate is going to drop. Your focus should be on three things: retention, productivity, and expansion. And that's how you accomplish that, is by selling, recruiting, and building the culture. I got this from Ben Kinney's training yesterday, actually. So I just popped it in here. But the 2-20 rule. So sell 2 homes a month independently. That's his number, right? Like that's what he felt was comfortable for him to, or what the average of agents are, in order for them to keep their business afloat, to pay their bills, to not have to worry or struggle. Like financially, 2 homes was the standard. That may look different for you, right? Like that may be 5 homes, that may be 1 home, but look at your GCI from last year, your transactions from last year, and see what your sweet spot is. And then use that and set the example, because if you can do 2 homes a month, they feel like they can do 2 homes a month. And again, it's a loose guideline. That's going to be completely subjective. Then you should be adding 2 agents every month, because like I just said, step 2 is recruiting. If you are adding 2 agents a month, you're going to stay at a consistent number. Teams always see an overturn, and you need to consistently be adding agents so that when you lose one, you don't feel it, right? And your business stays consistent, your GCI stays consistent, your number of agents on the team stays consistent. So that's going to keep it sustainable and predictable. You don't want to stay the same, you want to grow. Same thing goes for your GCI year over year and the number of agents on your team. And then lastly, spend 20 minutes each day with the people that matter the most to you on your team and in your business. Check in with them, see what they need help with, ask for feedback. You want to pour into these people. The people you spend the most amount of time and energy on are the people that are going to become clones of you and create that culture and keep repeating it and copying it. And the others will lead by that example. If you clone yourself once, they will clone the next person, and you'll keep creating mini yous on your team that are doing business the same way, that have the same values, the same goals. And that's how you're going to keep repeating that cycle. So 2-2-20, sell 2 homes a month, add 2 agents every month, and 20 minutes a day with the people that mean the most. If you go a week without talking to that person, whether it's your admin, your top agent on your team, whatever the case is, or maybe somebody that's new that shows hustle and drive, and you want to make sure that they're involved, you can't go a week without speaking to those people. You need to prove to them that they're important. If they're important to you and it's keeping your business running, they need to feel that. These are the top reasons why agents have low retention rates on their team. And this is like probably the biggest problem that teams have, is that agents gain all the knowledge that they need and then they leave, right? So this is how we're going to avoid that. So the first one is a lack of leadership and support. Agents leave when team leaders fail to provide clear guidance, mentorship, or support. Misaligned expectations. So sometimes agents join team with unrealistic expectations about their volume, training, or income. Do not overpromise and underdeliver. Don't say, yeah, we're going to give you your own assistant and you're going to have a corner office and this and that, if you have no intentions of giving that to them anytime in the near future. If it's going to take a certain level of production to get those things, make sure you're making that very clear from the beginning. And I'm going to show you my team agreement so you can see how I structure this to set those expectations on day one. Lack of growth opportunities. If agents feel like there's nowhere to go on the team, and again, this is on my team agreement, it literally has a sliding scale structure so they know what they're working towards and what the goal is for them and how they're going to make more money in advance. If they're not seeing an opportunity for higher commissions or leadership roles, they are going to hit a ceiling and they're going to feel like, okay, I capped my potential on this team and it's time for me to go elsewhere. Insufficient training and resources, I feel like, is pretty self-explanatory, but if you're not providing ongoing training tools and resources and they're not improving skills and learning something new, there's no value being offered in exchange for their commission splits, and then there would be no reason for them to stay on the team. So this can be you doing the trainings. I do one training a week with my team. I have my team manager that does the mentorship meeting with all the new agents another day every week. So automatically everybody on the team is in 2 meetings. And then we also have ongoing trainings. We have agent attraction courses, we have social media courses, and we have different trainings that they go through on their own in addition to what the brokerage offers. So just make sure it's clean cut. They know where to access these things, and you make sure you're holding them accountable for what trainings they're doing every week. Another reason why agents leave is overbearing team splits, right? If it's justified, they're not going to feel like it's overbearing. If they're paying 50% or more on a team split and they're not receiving enough value to justify that, they're obviously going to leave the second they see that first commission check. Poor team culture. So agents are more likely to stay on teams where they feel valued, supported, and part of a positive culture. If you have one weak link on your team that doesn't join the classes, never closes a deal, isn't hosting open houses on the weekends, isn't motivated, isn't driven, is super negative, that is going to drag down everybody else on the team. And the issue that a lot of team leaders have is that they want to hold on tight to every agent they get because they're like, I poured into this person. I want to get at least my ROI on that. I'm going to wait for them to close something and then kick them off the team. And it's such a limiting mindset because it is dragging down all the other agents with them in the meantime. So it's better to cut the cord loose, get rid of that agent, and you can replace them with somebody that fits into the culture and brings up the positivity and drive and the hunger back into the team culture. Failure to deliver leads. So we're going to dive into this as well, but you need to order some sort of lead generation, and we're going to go into the details of what that may look like. But for a brand new agent, especially, they don't know where to start. The most important part, obviously, is getting leads because they don't know how to make money without that. Nobody can make money without that. So don't leave them scrambling to generate their own business, because then even if you guide them through the transaction, there's no transaction to guide them through if they don't have a client. So you have to have some sort of lead gen. And then the last one is the disconnect between the leader and team. So when team leaders prioritize their personal production over supporting the team or fail to communicate effectively, agents may feel neglected. So again, this ties back into the team name, right? If it's your name, people feel like they're building your brand. They're doing it for you. They're not doing it for themselves. They're not doing it because they see the bigger picture. They see your bigger picture, but that's not helping them. Same thing when, this is also an issue, like even for me, right? Some months you go through, you're focusing on your own personal production, you're so busy, and the team falls to the backside a little bit. And then the opposite happens. You focus so much on the team, you push them into production, but then your own GCI fails a little bit. So there has to be that perfect balance and time blocking in order to make sure that it's consistent, because if your agents are seeing inconsistency in the amount of time you devote to them, you're going to run into issues with that. There's 3 ways you can structure your team. I'm sure there's more, but these are the 3 big ones that I personally experienced. So you can have a mentorship team, a collaborative team, or a standard team. A mentorship team is exactly what it sounds like. Like, this is how a lot of agents get started if you want to form some sort of alliance and start building a brand. But basically, you're just offering them knowledge in exchange for a small commission split. So a lot of brokerages offer something like this, right? Like, you can get a coach, you can get a mentor, you're paying usually 10 to 20% fees on all of that. So whether it's called a mentor or productivity coach, you can form a team around this. You can say, you know what, I'm starting a mentorship program. It makes it very easy to attract agents because every new agent wants knowledge, especially for a minimal split like that, right? But one of the downsides to this is that it can be super time consuming for little to no return on investment, because you can teach somebody everything that they need to know for a whole year. And like I said, if they're not getting clients, they're not closing any deals. If they don't close any deals, you're not getting paid. And there can be a high overturn of this because, as we all know on this call, a lot of new agents drop out of the business after their first year, their third year, their 5th year. I mean, if you're not closing deals, you're not going to keep investing all of that time into learning something new like this. So it can be time consuming for little to no return on investment, but it is a good way to attract agents to get started with that team, to see if you enjoy mentoring, if they're getting value out of it, if you can, you can kind of trial and error the way to structure your education for your agents and things like that. So it's a good way to get started. That is going to be kind of like your trial and error phase on how you're really going to structure everything. After that, you can build it up to a collaborative team. So this is usually a smaller team made up of a handful of agents that are grouped together, usually similar level of experience, just to hold each other accountable, to motivate and inspire one another, and to grow a brand name. The team split involved is usually minimal and used as a pool of money for marketing for the team. This is what I did when I got started. So you guys might think I'm crazy, but what I did was I moved to a brokerage where, agents were joining me and they needed the hands-on help and they wanted my marketing and they wanted help growing their social. And I was like, you know what, I might as well form some sort of alliance or collaboration where we can, do our marketing together. We could do door knocking together. We can order materials. We can hold each other accountable and make calls and do this on the weekends. And so the way that I structured it was that I only took a 10% team split from all of these agents. And that basically was a pool of money just for our marketing. So planning events, we did cocktail events for networking, attracted some agents through stuff like that, which helped them as well as me. Super collaborative, super win-win for everybody involved. It was easy to attract agents to this because that's the support that's missing as an independent agent, and you're bridging that gap for them. It's a great way to start gaining name and brand recognition, and you can always restructure this later. So I did this probably for a year. After that, I was like, okay, I am also teaching and training them, and I'm not getting paid for that because the 10% is just going towards marketing. It's not going towards mentorship. So there wasn't much profit or money to be made by the leader, but it was more of just building a larger vision. That's what this collaboration was about. So again, that brings you back to the first slide with your questions about why you want to start a team, because that's going to help you make this decision on which structure is going to be best for you. The next one is a standard team. So a standard team is a combination of both the mentorship and collaborative team. So this was my 3rd step, right? So there's a team leader who teaches, hosts trainings, guides the agents through their transactions, provides support staff, whether that's a VA, a TC, supports marketing, provides them with listing presentations, buyer presentations, any tools, CRMs, leads. Due to the increased time support and money invested, there's typically higher splits, right? This is a standard structured team. Something that a lot of brokerages offer is an incentive for you to have a standard team within the brokerage. For me personally, the cap at my company is $12,000 a year. If there's an agent on a team, their cap is reduced by 50% and they cap out at $6,000 a year. So they're paying a team split that never caps out because their business is always ongoing, right? And those splits are paying for stuff like signs and yard signs, business cards, all of the marketing never ends because you're constantly marketing. So there's never a cap on the team split. But because the cap is lowered by $6,000 a year, they're saving $6,000 off the bat. So they don't mind investing more money into the team split because they're going to cap out a lot quicker and they're no longer going to have a company split. So that's one of the incentives, not even from me, from my brokerage, that allows for something like this and allows for this structure. Some of the benefits to this is that agents on the team get the most support and guidance, while the team leader has the opportunity to profit the most as well in exchange. Usually there's brokerage incentives, like I just mentioned. I don't know how every company structures theirs, but that was just an example of how mine does things. And then one of the cons is lower retention rates if there's not enough value in exchange for the splits. If you are constantly offering enough value, they are going to feel like they're getting their money's worth in regards to the team splits. And I'm going to show you what my team splits look like and what are included in those and go into detail on this a little bit. So this is an example of my team agreement. It's, yes, there's a signature on it, not exactly legally binding. I am not an attorney, but I just like my agents to feel like, okay, this is legit. This is what I have to do. And it clearly sets expectations for both me as the team leader and for my team member. And I'm going to email you guys after this a copy of this, a template on Canva so that you can edit it if you want to copy it, make changes to it, and use this as your example. So our basically like goal here is that the Modern Approach team promotes your listing using mass exposure and strategic digital marketing to sell your home as quickly as possible for the most amount of money as possible. Our commission structure, I have a tiered system. I've done a lot of trial and error with this. Like I said, I started everybody on a 10% team split. That didn't work. It wasn't profitable. Then once I grew and I set the baseline, and let me just tell you guys, don't be afraid of starting that way and then thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to increase splits. They're all going to leave at that point. That is not the case. All of my agents stayed with me except for one. That agent wound up, she does rentals. She doesn't really sell anything. So honestly, it didn't make much of a difference for me. But the way that I did it, a sliding scale structure, was because when I first converted to a standard team, they had the half cap. And then I think they were somewhere on a 25% team split. I think that's what the brokerage had required for them to get that half cap offering. And then I was like, you know what, still not profitable enough. Like, I'm not seeing enough money in my pocket to keep this team going because it's very time consuming for me. I'm seeing a decline in my own personal business because this is so much work to manage. And I wanted to be able to offer them more for them to stay and to keep retaining them. So the most important thing before I even read this to you is feedback, right? I constantly check in with my whole team as a whole, and I'm like, what does the team need to offer? What do we need to do differently? What can we work on? What do you need help with in your business? Who can we hire to help you? If you're asking those questions and then you're implementing right away what the feedback is, you are never going to have unhappy agents because you're constantly checking in with them and you're constantly asking. And it's not just asking, it's implementing immediately after, right? So the way that I structure my team now, and I've been doing this for probably, I want to say like a year and a half, and it's really been working. Our retention rate is over 83% for the last 3 years with all of these structure changes that have happened. But my first year agents are my brand new agents. I have them on a 60-40 split. So they pay a 40% team split to us. This includes if they've done less than 2 deals ever or for the last year, they go automatically on this split, right? So they have the brokerage split with the half cap, and then they pay the team 40% of each deal until they close 2 deals. The reason why I do that is because they have a goal. they have something to look forward to, and they have basically a promotion waiting for them at the end of those 2 deals. The reason why it's also beneficial is because after 2 transactions, they already know what's going to come next, right? Like they know how to structure the offer. They know how to get the attorney involved in the contract negotiations and inspection appraisal. They already walked through this process 2 times. So now it's more hands off for us on the team in the leadership positions. Included in that 40% is 10% I pay to a team manager to do a mentorship with them. Because what I found was that I was walking through a lot of new agents through all of these transactions. I was repeating myself so much. It was the same questions over and over again. And quite frankly, I don't have time for that shit. And like I was getting aggravated. And as much as I want to help these agents, it became extremely redundant with certain things. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hire a team manager, somebody that's hungry, somebody that is a replica of me and the way I do business and can teach these people, that's been with me from day one. And I'm going to pay them 10% of the first 2 deals from every agent on the team. And then they graduate from the mentorship program and they moved on to the second tier, right? So the team mentor or team manager that does all of the trainings, an additional training every week, in addition to my training, they're getting 10% of those deals. And there's always an overturn, right? Because we're always hiring new agents. So when one graduates from the program, another one enters. After they close 2 deals, I bump their split to 30%. Now they're on a 30% team split. They are on a 30% team split until they close 10 deals with the team at, that can take any amount of time. That can happen in 1 year or that can happen in the next 3 years. So until they close 10 deals, they're on a 30% team split. And then after that, this is my minimum for them to have a half cap with the company is 25%. That's like the top agents that know their shit already. I don't have to walk them through and there's no hand holding. They're self-sufficient and their team split is 25%, which includes all of these things here, right? So just to read off some of them to you is the mentorship program that I had mentioned, the training support, all of our team vendors, our attorneys, lenders, photographers, inspectors, weekly trainings, monthly one-on-one social media evaluations. I sit with them once a month and I'm like, okay, how can we tweak your content? What's working? What's not working? What can we do differently? As well as a monthly one-on-one production evaluation that is done with the team manager. So I do more of the marketing social media side. She does more of the tangible, like logistics and like actual transaction processes. Because again, that's my unique value proposition. That's what I'm good at. I'm not going to sit here and do the shit that I don't like to teach, that I don't enjoy teaching. That is going to completely change the culture, right? Everybody in a position on the team loves what they do and loves teaching it to other people. So that's again, through trial and error, you'll figure that out. But at this point, if you're thinking of starting a team, you should already kind of know what that is. I give them a buyer checklist that we send to our clients, seller checklist, branded buyer and seller guides, marketing materials, anything they can think of from mailouts, Canva. We have networking events. We do a team event at least once a year. We have the team website, all the social media pages, YouTube channel. We have basically a 12-month marketing campaign that we do mailers to a community. And it's done for them, right? Like I'm going to get into this, but we have a virtual assistant that creates all of those things. All they have to do is everything's a plug and play. They already have the templates done. They pop their info in and they do their mailers. We're all doing it at the same time. We're all holding each other accountable and we're all tracking what the return on investment is for that. So last year we did a marketing campaign that was good, but the return wasn't super high. So we're adjusting it for this year. We're doing something a little bit different. But all of the marketing is done for them. They don't have to think, they don't have to get creative, and they're always constantly marketing in one way or another. We do team nights, we do quarterly production competitions within the team. We have access to a private YouTube channel with all of our training videos. If you miss a class, the training's uploaded on there. And then we have access to other platforms, like we have a Gold Bar training platform. We have Gogo Bethke's social media course. We have Lindsay Bruhan's social media course, Amy Gregory's agent attraction course. We paid for all of these additional courses. We just added another one. Erica Wolf, she's in Jupiter, Florida. She's amazing. She's really good at farming geo areas. We have her whole course on how to do that. So we invested probably between those courses that we offer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's probably close between like $7,000 to $9,000 in courses that we offer our agents, and they're for life. There's lifetime access. So if we ever have an agent that leaves, a new agent that comes on, we don't have to pay additional. We don't have to do anything different. We just give them the login for it. They always have access to it. That's been something that's been a huge value, because a lot of these people know who these people are, especially through social media, and they don't have to go out of their way to purchase it. We already did that for them. And it's good because it's in all different categories. The Gold Bar training platform is, basics of the business and getting listings. Ricky Caruth is on there. Social media courses, those are people that are killing it in social media. That's how they're attracting their agents. That's how they're attracting their clients. And then agent attraction, again, we're a rev share model brokerage. So that's been helpful for our agents as well to grow their downlines, because that's another form of passive income for them. And then we have a loyalty program for all of our clients. We do gifts sporadically throughout the year. We have a point system. We give a big gift to the top client of ours at the end of the year that gave us the most points. So they earn points for like sharing our stuff, leaving us a review online, buying or selling with us, doing a rental with us, or giving us a referral. So that's been something that's super helpful. It keeps our client community super involved. We have a private Facebook group for that as well. So same way you build a culture and community within your team, you should be doing that for your team's clients as well. And then on the back, we have team member expectations. So the team split is basically what it includes is your expectation as a team leader. This is what the team member is expected to do. So our team is designed around the motto, selling homes with a modern approach. So we're up to date on social media trends and algorithms. So I really try to push them. And a lot of them, I will say, are lazy and not on this page right now. And I'm about to light a fire under their ass with this. But with that, we expect our team members to post constantly on a daily basis, interactive stories once a week, polls or questions to boost engagement and to collect leads. We have lead magnet systems in place where they have QR codes for different guides moving to South Florida. The guide to home ownership, how to build your credit and save for a down payment over the next 12 months. There's QR codes where the client has to enter their name and email address, and then it goes into their CRM system. So now they're posting that, they're using it on marketing materials, and they're collecting a bunch of leads through our lead magnets that, again, are done for them. It's a plug and play. We have marketing campaigns, the 12-month campaigns that we do, and again, you don't have to copy this. I'm going to send you a copy of it. We send updates to all transactions to the team lead on a regular basis. So every Monday, I ask them for an email, what's going on in their business, what clients do they have, what problems are they having? And we spend the 15 minutes of every team call once a week going over what's going on in their current business as well. Team hires. So as I said when I was promoting this class, it's not just about building a team, is not just about adding agents, right? It's also about making hires for your agents. So these should be the first 3 hires that you make. You don't have to do them all simultaneously. But the first one is an administrative assistant, right? You need someone that is doing all the shit that you should not be doing as an agent and as a team leader. Your focus should be selling homes, adding agents to your team, and helping them get to the next level in their business. So the admin is doing all the background stuff. They're making the social media posts, they're onboarding the new agents, they're preparing the marketing and the marketing campaigns, the postcards, everything that your team needs. And basically anything you need them to do, right? So a pro tip is, if you are short on cash, if you're just getting started, or if you just want to maximize your return on investment, I would hire an overseas virtual assistant. I have a virtual assistant in Brazil. The time change is like no different. They're just an hour, I think, behind us. Speaks perfect English, writes in perfect English. Her hustle is there. Her drive is there. She works with us full time, 40 hours a week. And we pay her $4 an hour, which is the minimum wage over there. So it's not like we're skimping her. We give her bonuses for things, but she is so on top of it, so motivated. And I will also email you the company that I used to hire her, because it has changed my business tremendously to have this person available to do all of the things for the whole team, not just for me, right? That's how you're going to grow, is by leveraging. Secondly, transaction coordinators. So the transaction coordinator, usually you're paying between 400 to 500 on each transaction, and you don't have to do shit after you get that deal under contract. Okay, you get the client, you lock in a house, and then you submit the contract or the offer. After that, the transaction coordinator schedules the inspection, does follow-ups with the inspector, schedules the appraisal. They handle the communication between the title company or attorney and the bank. You're CC'd on all of those emails. So it's not just getting your paperwork signed and uploaded to whatever platform you have for your brokerage. It's also handling the communication throughout that. I'm going to get to all of the questions at the end. And then also a showing agent. So I use a app. I will email you guys what that app is after this as well. Total lifesaver, right? And what this has done, like just to put this in perspective for you guys, they are there for all of the showings, inspections, appraisals, right? If it's a brand new buyer, if I never met them before, even if it's somebody I know, I go to that initial showing, right? You're building a relationship. You shouldn't be in an hour-long inspection. You're not inspecting the property. The inspector's doing that. Why do you need to be there? You're going to waste an hour, 2 hours. The longest inspection I went to, by the way, you guys, was 6 hours. Okay. Who has time for that? Like, that is not making you more money. You do not need to be there. The appraisals, again, 15 minutes. Like, I don't know why you're going out of your way to drive somewhere for 15 minutes for an appraisal. The client is not even there. So you need to be taking yourself out of the shit that is not making you money and outsourcing that. Showing agents, I typically pay $40 per showing. If it's like a co-op condo building and there's 5 showings in the same building, $50 an hour for that. I ask the agents on my team first if they want to make any extra cash and take up that. Some of them do, right? If they have the free time, if they're doing it full time, they have nothing going on, they're more than willing to do it and make a little bit of money in the meantime. After that, I outsource it to the app that I use that I will send you guys after this. Huge lifesaver. And what this has allowed me to do is expand past my current market. Okay. This year I closed a house in Troy, New York. I have no idea where that is. Okay. It's upstate somewhere. I closed a house in Albany. I also have no idea where that is. Well, I know where Albany is. I'm just kidding. But like, I haven't been there. I've not went to Albany one time, right? And those deals closed seamlessly because I outsourced showing agents through the app in that area that were local, that knew the market, that knew the area, that was more than willing to take that on and give them a tour of the property in the neighborhood. And that has allowed me to expand my business and make an extra maybe like 25,000 this year in markets that I normally would not have closed a deal in because I was able to outsource those showing agents. So just to put that in perspective for you guys, expansion is not just about you physically expanding. It's about you leveraging people and opportunities to allow you to grow your business into other markets. Lead generation. So new agents especially, right? They're joining a team in order to increase their business. And in order to increase their business, they need to close deals. How are you going to provide leads to them? And I will tell you, like in the beginning, when I had a 10% team split and it was more of just a pool for marketing materials, I was not giving them leads. I still don't give my team leads. Like with my 83% retention rate, I have never paid for a lead for my team. And I'm going to tell you why. But obviously, the first and quickest way to get your team started, if you have the money to invest in it, is doing Zillow, Zillow Flex, Realtor.com, or other lead generation sources like that, right? That's pretty much a given. Obviously, that can be super costly. You also, if your trainings are below the bar and these agents are not good at converting and closing these clients, it's a huge waste of money. So the first thing before you even start paying for leads for your team is you need to train them properly to be able to close them. And also, if you have a team full of part-time agents, you need to make sure that they're available to take those calls. What I do with my team is I use my unique value proposition that we went over in the beginning to teach them how to get their own leads. I teach them how to use social media, how to use lead magnets, how to post polls online to get leads. So I am basically giving them free leads by teaching them how to get it there on their own for free. And the reason why I do this is because I don't want to handicap my agents. And this is another issue a lot of team leaders have, is that they want to handicap them so they can never leave, right? That's not genuinely offering value to these people. I want them to know what to do. So if they ever want to leave the team, they are self-sufficient. They know how to get business. If you're feeding them Zillow leads, whenever they want to leave, their business is going to suffer. And like, I'm just thinking long term and have genuine intentions for their business and genuinely want them to grow on their own. And I feel like that's the best way of doing that. Again, think about how you grew your business and what you did to collect leads your first year, and that's what you should be teaching them. And then obviously cold calling, make sure you have a caller, a dialer, make sure they know where to get that information from. And then these are some ways to leverage your team. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I feel like we're running out of time. I don't want to keep you guys longer than 1 hour, so there's 15 minutes left. Listings. So open houses are a win-win for you as the listing agent and for your team member to collect leads. I have not hosted an open house in probably like 2 years. Door knocking and cold calling, we have specific marketing tactics for this. I don't believe in door knocking and cold calling unless it's with a purpose, right? And it makes these leads warm instead of cold. We have a really good marketing campaign for when we get a listing for our door knocking and cold calling in order to get us more leverage in that community for more listings or for buyers. So they leverage my listings in order to increase their business. So if you're not giving them listings, if you don't have listings in production, you don't really have much to give them from that aspect. So just make sure you're constantly getting listings. That's what your focus should be on, so you can feed your team in a way where it's not costing you anything. And then buyers, like I said, sometimes I hire showing agents for them. Sometimes I hire them as showing agents for my buyers, and other times I partner with them on it. This way they can gain experience. They do all the appointments. It really is subjective. It depends on how I split that up. Sometimes it's a 50-50. I'm like, okay, you're in the field, you do the work. If it's somebody I know personally, I just hire them as a showing agent. But if it's somebody that I feel like they're really going to add value to this, it's really going to propel them and it's going to motivate them, then I will give them 50%. I do not split up every buyer with my team. That's like you being a restaurant owner and you giving away 50% of your like profit from, like, you're running a business and they're a worker at the company. So would it make sense to continue giving them your profit sharing of your business? Probably not, right? That's where your business is going to suffer as well. You have to know when and where to do that. So here's the thing, you guys, I didn't want to become a realtor, but here we are, right? And I love it and I wouldn't go back. But the reason why I didn't want to do real estate was because when I worked as a marketing assistant for a brokerage, I observed some agents who were successful, but also worked 24/7, always answered the phone, worked every single weekend, hosted all of their open houses every single weekend, didn't have a social life, were extremely stressed out, severe highs and lows on a daily basis, like were splitting themselves in 10 different directions. They would burn out regularly. They spent time with their kids, but they weren't fully present because they were always on call. And they had to be 100% inside of their business to make money. So I did see the potential for success, but it wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted in exchange for that. And then I found leverage by doing some of the things that I just showed you guys. And this year I was able to more than double my GCI, almost tripled it in 1 year in a down market while working the least amount of hours I have ever worked, right? So this is like the cheat code where your business can thrive independently while also flourishing your own personal life. Like I posted this morning, I went to 5 countries in 6 months and I had the best year in business that I have ever had. So obviously these things are working where like my clients are happy. They're not dropping off. Our client retention rate is over 90%. We get all of our repeat clients back. So even though I'm outsourcing and leveraging certain things, my clients still feel like I am 100% invested and involved. As a solo agent, your growth is limited by your time, right? There's a cap on how far you can go alone because you only have 24 hours in the day. Instead of having to choose between your child's softball game or hosting your own open house, you can be making money from the softball game. You can be outsourcing and leveraging your team and your hires so that you are still closing deals from softball and are not stressed and are not split and you're totally present mentally. Instead of being unsure if you should cancel your upcoming vacation because you're worried you'll lose clients or deals, you can be confident that your business will run as per usual while you are away on vacation. Growing a team is the only way you can stop trading money for time and time for money. Like I said, it's not just growing a team, it's also hiring within your business. When you learn the right steps to make the right hires and let go of trying to do it all yourself, and that's a huge issue most of us have, is control, right? We feel like we're the only one that can do these things within our business. It takes too long to train these people how to do it. Like, I will help you bridge that gap for all of those things. Once you let go of it, like, your GCI will double or triple, and you will have so much time back in your day and your schedule to do the things that you love doing. How do you know you're ready to build a team? Is when you're sick of trading your time for money and money for time. You want to be fully present at home. You want to grow and expand further than you are geographically capable of doing. You know what's meant for more, and your business can do more than what you're showing for it right now. And you want to have a thriving business while also having a thriving life. And I think that's why most of us are on this call or have had these thoughts, is because we want to be successful, but we don't want to be a slave to our company or our business, right? Because then it defeats the purpose of being an entrepreneur. Like, if you're working 24/7, why did we quit a 9 to 5? It just doesn't make sense. We did this for freedom, and most of us don't have it. I am introducing my new course, Trade 20 Hours a Week for 200K. Learn how to work less and earn more in 2025 by implementing new strategies that are going to help you grow your business like you never have before. So in this course, you're going to learn how to evaluate your business in terms of finances, client management, SOPs, lead gen, determine what your unique value proposition is, and figure out how and when to eliminate, automate, and outsource, as well as leveraging tasks within your business based on your specific business evaluation. So it's completely subjective towards you and your business specifically. How and when to make your first hire, right? Who should that be? If you already have a first hire, then who your second hire should be. When to hire them, where to hire them, what the cost will be. I have plug-in systems for VAs, TCs, anything that you can think of that you will need in your business. You will gain all of that. Tony Robbins, I was at this weekend. It was amazing. His special mindset skill set to mentally prepare you for leadership and to let go of your limiting beliefs that are holding you back from doing it. How to build a high performance team and keep them motivated, and how to keep agents on your team forever. Maybe not forever, but you know what I mean. My team has a 83% retention rate, and the average retention rate is less than 50%. Marketing strategies to turn one listing into 4 more deals for you and your agents, right? Because we had discussed, if you get one listing, you can leverage that and turn it into more deals for just you and your team. I had just one client this year that turned into another 115,000 GCI for me personally, over 5 transactions just in 2024. That was from leveraging one client because of the marketing strategies that we implement and because of the systems that I had put in place to turn one listing into more transactions. Creative ways to keep past clients engaged and encouraged to repeat business and give you referrals. The average agent has a 13% client retention rate over 5 years. My team has a 96% retention rate on past clients. And how to earn multiple and passive streams of income so that you are, flip this over here, so that you are consistently receiving direct deposits even when you aren't closing deals. This year, and this was like my main goal last year, I have 3 streams of income just from selling houses, like just from doing the same thing I would be doing at any company. So if I have 1 month without a closing, I'm still getting paid. I'm still getting direct deposit because I set up those passive streams of income. So I'm going to teach you how I did that as well. So in this course, what you get is access to the course forever, lifetime access. And like I had said to you, I have paid for multiple courses, like almost $10,000 in courses for my team to have lifetime access to, so they can learn specifics on how to grow their businesses. It never expires. Like, even if you do half of it now and you implement some strategies, again, like Tony Robbins, right? You go to one event, you're super motivated, you implement one thing, and then the rest falls to the wayside. You will always have access to re-enter this and pick back up where you left off. You get access to our private Facebook group where you can ask questions and mastermind with other agents that are on the same level as you, right? They're all starting teams or they're team leaders across the country. We interview them, we do Q&As with them while you're setting up your team, right? So that alone has a value attached to it. Like this is giving you access to agents across the country that have done what you want to do, because the quickest way to get somewhere is by learning from the people that have done it already. You get 3 live Q&A sessions a month. We skip the last week of every month, but for the first 3 weeks of every month, we do a meeting with everybody that's enrolled in the course, where you can ask any questions about what you learned in the modules that you're going over. So it's pre-recorded, you have access to the videos, and then we do live Q&A, right? Because the biggest gap that I've seen is that these digital courses that you have access to, the problem is you're not getting one-on-one time. You're not getting to ask questions. All of our businesses look a little bit different. They're all subjective, right? So this is bridging that gap. So basically you're getting one-on-one coaching while you're also in a digital course. So it's the best of both worlds because you can move on your own time frame. Plus, you join the live Q&A, it motivates you like, oh shit, I skipped last week. Let me go back and watch that module because somebody asked this question. I think that's a great point. It's going to keep you accountable. You also get the Tony Robbins Mindset Mastery. I'm teaching a lot of what I've learned, and that was an $800 value alone. And then for free, I'm also sending you guys, for being on this call, the team agreement PDF that I had showed you, so you can use it as a template and implement yourself. And this also includes a social media audit sent directly to you. So I'm going to record a video diving into what your social media looks like and helping you set it up to attract team members and clients. So we're going to do SEO. We're going to look at what you've boosted, what you can change, how you can present yourself online. It's your digital resume, right? Like 100% of my clients have come from Instagram and Facebook. I've never bought a lead. I just don't do it. So that's where all my clients came from. And that's where I teach my agents to get their clients. And that's also where I attract my clients from and my team members. All of it is done through social media. So I'm going to help you set that up so that you can do the same thing, because it has the highest return on investment. You're not paying anything to post on Instagram. All of this combined is over a $3,000 value, right? For being on this call. So although it's a $3,000 value, I'm going to be launching this course at just under $1,500. Tomorrow, I'm launching the course publicly. I haven't even announced it yet or told anyone about it, but it's going up for sale tomorrow for $9.99. That's our early bird pricing. And for you being on this call now, the price is $673. This is literally only for 24 hours, and then it's getting bumped up to $9.99 tomorrow. It's the lowest price it's ever going to be, and you will be locked into lifetime access with everything that's included in the course. Nothing skimped at the skimpy price, so it's the best of both worlds. And then you also get the freebies that I mentioned with the team agreement PDF and the one-on-one social media evaluation that's being included. You're saving $25.73 on this, you guys, to get all of this. In the words of Dean Graziosi, that was at Tony Robbins' event this past weekend, that's a typo. The fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be is to find someone who's already done it. You can write a check for speed. This literally, I mean, I did it in a short amount of time, and it still took me 3 years to figure out these systems in order to have such a high retention rate, in order to triple my GCI this year. I didn't sell more houses, you guys. Like, I've been steady on the number of houses I've been selling over the last couple of years. But so for your GCI to triple while you're selling the same amount of houses, to me is more impressive than somebody tripling their income, but also tripling the time that they're working in their business. And that's what the point of this course is, right? It's teaching you how to implement these strategies so you can work less and earn 3 times more. To get this early bird pricing, I'm going to email you the link right after this. The code for this is TEAMS, and that's how you're going to get the price for $673. that's not being offered to anybody else. I'm going to also go through right now the questions that came in on the chat. Third year, 2 years, 23 years. Team split, we went over, right? I answered that question for you guys. Are you expanding to other MLSs? So for the deals that I did that were out of my MLS zone, so for example, like the one in Albany, the one in Troy that I had closed because I outsourced showing agents to get those deals done, I was not on those MLSs. I asked the agent and I was fully transparent with them. Like I called up the listing agent. I'm like, hey, I have a buyer. They want to see it. Can you please send me the broker full MLS because I'm not a member of your MLS? And they send it right over to you. So you don't necessarily have to be on those MLSs to be closing those deals, especially as a buyer. If you're taking a listing in another market, what you can do, and I recommend being on MLS for that, even with the buyer changes to the NAR lawsuit. For example, I took a listing in Port Charlotte, 3 hours away from me, right? I put a lockbox on the property. I schedule all the showings. I do all the marketing, the signs up in the yard. But I was able to join their MLS as a secondary member. I only paid $150, I think, for the year to be on their MLS. And I actually got 2 listings over there. So both of those are on that MLS. Are there any other questions about anything I went over or on structured teams, commissions? All right.
Grace, I just want to say that you have a very, very, very good presentation. Um, I've been doing this for 16 years. I've been working with a lot of agents. I recruit a lot myself, and it's very rare to see an agent that in 3 years, reaches the level of success that you have so far. So honestly, you went beyond and above the expectations that I have for the presentation. So congrats. Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. I really
This is the
appreciate it.
first one, right?
I'm sorry.
This is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't doubt that within the next 90 days, if you continue doing this, you're gonna have hundreds of agents joining.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was
Thank
really
you.
good information.
Thank you. Does anybody else have questions, concerns, compliments? All right, you guys, I am going to cut the meeting off. Thank you so much for staying an hour and taking the time out of your day to join. I'm going to email you right after this, the recording, as well as the PDF for the Teams agreement and the early bird pricing that is only good for the next 24 hours. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I'm sure we'll all be in touch. Bye.